everybody, and welcome back to another sort of cracking packs video. We are going to open some packs, as you can see here. However, we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to talk about rotation. That's why you see the packs you do. What a surprise, right? Something that doesn't happen very often. And it's been kind of weird and muddled up due to the changes they made to the process with Kaladesh. And then they reverted it because Kaladesh was in standard for way too friggin' long, as most people said and griped about. And they made the change back. So we're going to be losing these 4 sets come the drop of Throne of Eldraine, which will be next week. So get ready. And yeah, it's time to unload those cards that you don't think will see play outside of standard. Because if they don't see play outside of standard, they're not going to have much value once the sets rotate. That being said, not a lot of people are going to be looking to buy cards from these sets just before rotation happens. Your stores might take them from you, but at a heavily discounted cost, I would imagine. So basically, we're losing Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan, Dominaria, and Core Set 2019. That's right. There are a number of things that happen with rotation, and that is that the meta shifts. I'm sure a lot of you have been playing Standard and know that there are lots of things like, for instance, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. That's gone. We're losing that. That's a thing that will no longer exist. What else are we losing? We're losing a number of things. Like, we're losing all the Explore mechanics. We're losing the Sagas. We're losing, Rekindling Phoenix. Settle the Wreckage. We're losing a bunch of the legendary stuff from Dominaria, like Mox Amber and those type of things. We're losing, a bunch of the pirates and some of the draw card mechanics, like Tormenting Voice and Chart a Course. We're losing a number of angels, unfortunately, as well as all of the wizards from the mono red deck or the blue red wizards deck. We're losing dinosaurs. I mean, there'll still be a couple kicking around, but we're losing like the major dinosaur support because that was basically one of the big things of Ixalan. And vampires. Vampires are getting hit pretty hard by this rotation because they're losing a lot of their key pieces, like their Legion Lieutenant and their Adanto Vanguard and their Champion of Dusk. We're losing Scape Shift. In my opinion, thank goodness. Because holy moly, that Field of the Dead Scape Shift deck is just everywhere. Or at least it was. We're losing Llanowar Elves, and we're losing our Czech lands. The Czech lands, obviously from Ixalan and Dominaria, where it says, if you control a swamp or a mountain, then it doesn't come into play. It comes into play tapped unless you control like one of those basics, basically. Or not a basic, but like one of the lands that counts as one of those types. So the Czech lands are actually pretty useful, right? Because you've got, of course, your shock lands from guilds, which count as those types, which make the Czech lands way better. Well, when the Czech lands rotate out, now all you've got for your fixing is going to be the shock lands and then the scry lands. Well, the scry lands aren't super great because they come into play tapped all the time. Now, they can be used for fixing, of course, right, which is good, but at the same time, we do have a little bit there that we have to work with. So there is a lot of stuff rotating out, and I figured what better way to talk about rotation than to open some of the packs that are going to be rotating out, right? Why not? I don't recommend you buying these packs right now, with rotation coming up soon. I would recommend saving your money and buying Throne of Eldraine packs when they come out. So let's just take a look back through Ixalan. We'll start with Ixalan and make our way toward Core Set 2019. So we've got, of course, a Frenzied Raptor. So we're losing dinos, right? We know that. Pterodon Knight is not, I don't think, we don't really see anything with that being played. There's one of our vampires, of course, we're losing. I don't think anyone was playing this card particularly. Merfolk. Merfolk are going to get hit pretty hard with this. So there's not going to be really a Merfolk deck in Standard. come the rotation as well. Crushing Canopy. There's another Merfolk. Duress. Are we losing Duress? I think Duress got reprinted in 2020, didn't it? I think it did. Thrash of Raptors. Or did it not? Maybe it didn't. Are we losing Duress? We probably are. Thrash of Raptors, another Dino. Another Merfolk. So here's our first uncommon, Kumena's Speaker. Another Vampire, Inspiring Cleric. There's our Charta Course. We know that that's a very good card right now. Sees a lot of play in, is it Phoenix, right? And our rare is a Mythic. Okay, we hit a Mythic. Star of Extinction. This card's a lot of fun, actually. I actually particularly like building decks around this type of mechanic. So it destroys a land, and then it deals 20 damage to each creature and each player. There's some fun things you can do with that. With, like, for instance, the Boros Mentor card. That's like when it takes damage, it deals that much damage to target player. So, like, you play this, and it burns your own creature, but it kills them, because it does 20 damage to them. Right? Like that kind of thing. Is pretty fun. Like this would be a cool mechanic with like Boros Reckoner, if you remember Boros Reckoner from the Return to Ravnica block. Same idea, right? So it's a fun thing to just poke around with. Anyway, so Mythic is not bad, and then of course we got a token and a swamp. A token and a swamp. So that's our Ixalan. Let's check out what Rivals has for us. Of course, we've got Pirates again. Pirates, which we don't have a pile for yet. I should probably make a pile of just like generic things like this. These are the generic things like this. Yeah, okay. Then we've got Sun Sentinel, just a human soldier. There it is. There's a Goblin Pirate again. Sees we're losing this, so your red deck wins. You're not going to have your fanatical firebrands anymore. Vampire Revenant, another vampire. Gilt Grove Stalker, another Merfolk. Voracious Vampire, another vampire. Luminous Bonds. Dark Inquiry. Soul of the Rapids. Impale. The Highland Lake. Sea Red. Charging Tuskodon, another dino. And our rare is an Ark of Orazca. Orazca? Yeah. So this was a card that saw quite a bit of play, actually, back when it was first released. Because, 5 mana, tap it, draw a card. Right? Activate only if you have the City's Blessing. Well, in a lot of decks with like lands and control, you end up with City's Blessing pretty easily. Speaking of City's Blessing, another mechanic that's going away. We won't see the City's Blessing anymore once rotation hits. So there won't be things using the City's Blessing, which I think the City's Blessing was a really cool mechanic that they added in the Ixalan block. It was very interesting. It was similar to the Monarch type thing, except not as powerful as Monarch, obviously, but it made your cards do additional things if you had the Blessing. And once you got the Blessing, there's no way to remove it, which was kind of cool. So anyway, we're moving on to Dominaria. Dominaria was the weird packs where you get it's 8 or 9 commons because you're guaranteed a legendary card, and the legendary card comes after the... it's weird. It's the formation of the pack is weird because you get 2 uncommons and then your rare and then your legendary. But your legendary could be rare, so if you end up with 3 uncommons, then your rare is the legendary card. There were some really weird scenarios with these packs. I can never remember. I remember having such a hard time trying to figure out the counts of the commons versus the uncommons in these packs. Mainly because it always seemed to be because if you get a foil too, but your foil could be the legendary, and then the foil could also be the rare. But you get 2 rares in the pack, but if your rare's a legendary, you could end up with a rare legendary, but then also a foil legendary. It was just really strange. There was some really strange scenarios. So again, just a human warrior, nothing super crazy to write home about. Artificer's Artisan, not so much there. Excavation Elephant. We come out of the tribal now, so the tribal here with the pirates, the merfolk, and the vampires. That's pretty much all we're going to see out of there, most likely. Land of War Envoy, Dredge Skeleton, Deathbloom Thalid. So we're losing our Thalids, the fungus. They don't see a lot of play in Standard these days, but we're still losing them. Unwind, Power Stone Shard, Ancient Animus, and our first uncommon is a Spore Swarm. And a Knight of Malice. The Antiquities War. So see, there you go. We got 2 uncommons and then our rare. And our rare was a Saga. So anyway, we're losing Sagas as well, right? Sagas won't exist in Standard after the rotation, which is kind of interesting. And we got a foil. See, look, like, so they're like this is what I'm saying is like about mapping the packs is kind of strange, like figuring out where the rare is versus the foil versus the uncommon versus the legendary. Is that like, so we got 2 uncommons, then we got technically a legendary rare because that's a Saga, and Sagas are technically legendary. Well, I guess they're not legendary. You can have as many as you want. So yeah, so the Saga isn't legendary, so that makes sense. The rare came after the 2 uncommons. We're guaranteed a legendary, but it comes after the foil. Like the foil comes, so you get 2 uncommons, then the rare, then the foil, then you get the guaranteed legendary card. It's so strange. I mean, like, they obviously fixed the process with War of the Spark with putting the Planeswalkers in, because the Planeswalker fell in to the uncommon slot just before the rare, which makes sense. So if you got 3 uncommons and none of them were a Planeswalker, then your rare was a Planeswalker. Makes sense. This one's a little bit weirder because you got 2 uncommons and then the rare and then the foil and then the... Anyway, foil land. I love foil lands. Some of my favorites. And our legendary creature is Quande, Pride of Femeref. There you go. See, and then like you got like your token and your basic land as well. Little Knight token. Oh yeah, Knights is gonna get a heavy hit because we're gonna lose like History of Benalia and stuff because it's a Saga. Yeah, fair. Okay, Core 2019. Again, we have Core 2020, so I mean like there's probably not a whole heck of a lot coming out of here that we're gonna lose. What are we losing out of Core 2019? Scapeshift, Elvish Reclaimer, Resplendent Angel. Anything else like jumping out at me here in the list? Oh, Nexus of Fate. We're losing Nexus of Fate. Fair. Nicol Bolas. I don't think didn't really see Nicol Bolas, the 2019 one, played that often. Omen Speaker's a great card. Lava Axe, Inspired Charge, Greenwood Sentinel. Like, a bunch of this stuff got reprinted anyway, so we're not really losing all these things. Strangling Spores, Crash Through, Colossal Dreadmaw. Colossal Dreadmaw didn't get a reprint. Colossal Dreadmaw's gone now. Will be gone. There will be no more 6/6 trample dino for 6 coming your way. Marauder's Axe, and then we got a Rupture Spire. Not a bad little land. Make any color. Vampire Sovereign. So again, they kept on theme by putting a few of the tribes from Ixalan into 2019 as well. Vampire Sovereign. Dryad Green Seeker. And those are our 3 uncommons. So then our rare is an Isolate. So there you go, Isolate. Exile target permanent with converted mana cost 1 for 1 mana. And we got a foil. A foil Lich's Caress. There you go. Destroy target creature, you gain 3 life. Just a little removal spell. It was very good in Limited. Didn't see any play outside of Limited, so that's fine. And then, of course, you had like the thing where you could get like essentially the tap land in place of a basic in 2019. Which is interesting to me because I think that was the first core set where they did that. Where they put a tap land in the land slot instead of a basic land. Like, most core sets in the past have always just been like, here's your basic land. You get a basic land in every pack because you need basic lands, right? The whole point of the core sets was like they were like the introductory sets to get people in to playing. So interesting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little sort of like chat about standard rotation. I didn't really go into too much detail, and I figured it would just be interesting to open up a couple of the packs that are going to be rotating out and see what we find. We didn't find anything particularly crazy amazing, but we did get a Chart of Course, which is, of course, something that did see a lot of play in Standard with Standard Phoenix. We, of course, did see a lot of the tribal stuff that did see play, like Fanatical Firebrand saw a lot of play, Commandus Speaker saw a lot of play, Watertap Weaver saw a lot of play, none of these really saw play. So, we didn't see any of the, like, the main vampires or things. Luminous Bond saw some play, not a whole heck of a lot. Duress saw play. So, you know, there's stuff rotating, but, you know, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Just remember that there's a few mechanics that are going to be going away, like City's Blessing and Sagas and things like that. So, things to not have to worry about anymore, which is nice. But there will be new things coming. Because Throne of Eldraine is going to be very different. Very, very different. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I have been your host, MrBevers, and as always, may your pulls ever be better.